Hey everyone, welcome back to J+K Retro Gaming channel. This week I'm going to introduce a little bit of a twist on my 5-minute challenge. Instead of picking random games that I play week to week, I'm going to go through and play IGN's top 15 games of all time on my top 4 retro systems. So SNES, NES, Sega, Master System, and Atari. So I'm going to start with the number 15 ranked game and make my way all the way to number 1 and see if it passes my 5-minute challenge, and also to see if it's worthy of the distinction that IGN has given the games. So top 15 of all time, pretty high. I know these lists are very subjective, and I actually went with IGN. There's so many lists out there, but I went with IGN because it's one of the brands and names that I grew up with. So this week I'm going to start with number 15 on the NES list. 15. River City Ransom. So this game was brought to us in 1989 by Technos Japan, and it was actually called Street Gangs on the PAL versions, but maybe they thought that name was just too much in your face for us North Americans? I don't know. So River City Ransom is a role-playing beat 'em up game. So it's similar to Double Dragon in the combat parts, but it's a little bit different in the role-playing aspect of the game, which allows us gamers to play a non-linear game with an open world type experience. I guess as open as it can be. Some would argue it's like a sandbox type open world, but either way, it differs from the classic beat 'em up games by adding that element to it. So I believe that's why it cracks the top 15 in the IGN all-time list, because of this unique aspect. So I never played this game growing up, so I'm going into this gameplay fresh. So let's see if it passes my 5-minute challenge and would crack my top 15. Time to play River City Ransom. So there you have it, that was River City Ransom on the NES, and yes, it does pass the 5-minute challenge, but I don't think this game would crack my top 15. But let's go through the ratings and we'll see why. So audio and music, I'm gonna give this game 8 out of 10. Pretty decent soundtrack, pretty catchy, but it does loop over and over again, at least in my 5-minute experience. Sometimes that can get annoying, but in this game, it wasn't too bad, so I'm gonna give the music 8 out of 10. So for video and graphics, I'm gonna give River City Ransom 8.5 out of 10. I love the manga style graphics. So it's kind of like Double Dragon, but cuter. The heads were a little bit bigger, so you got the big heads, kind of like an NBA Jam. So that gave it a little bit of anime style, almost too cute for this type of beat 'em up game, but still fun to look at. So the levels and the background environment, really well done. I love the streets, the trees, all the shops. You had some sushi shops, you had shops you could go into to get power-ups. Really well done, love the graphics. So for all important gameplay, I'm gonna give this game a little bit lower, 7 out of 10. The game was smooth enough, but it felt like a slowed down version of Double Dragon, so I didn't like that. I wanted the action to be a little bit quicker. The attacks were smooth, like I said before, but because the arms and the legs were kind of stubby, I felt that took away from the feel of the power of the punches and the kicks. But I love the variety of the weapons that you could use, so the bats, the pipes, the balls, the brass knuckles.
Deep down, he's a good person, and deep down, I'm not.
And even there were some chains or whips, so awesome variety there. And I thought the dialogue and the text underneath the gameplay was very unique, and of course that's part of the role-playing element to the game. So that was something different that you don't really see in other beat 'em up games, so that was pretty cool. But I just couldn't put my finger on something specific about this game that I could point to that just made me feel like it fell a little bit short. So there's just something missing. The fun factor just wasn't there for me, and I just don't know why. So the gameplay is gonna get a 7 out of 10. So overall, River City Ransom does pass the 5-minute challenge. I'm gonna give it 7 Marios out of 10, but I probably wouldn't put this in my top 15 NES games of all time. But with a full playthrough, I guess that could change. But in this case, for this series of videos, it's only a 5-minute challenge, so first impressions are really important. So, thank you all for watching. Thanks to all our subscribers for all your support, and we'll see you next week on the next 5-minute gameplay.